The first half was before I got my BFA, I would say. And still in art school, graduated from Pennsylvania Academy of Fine Arts in 2019. And then I feel like after that is when real work started to begin. Like what it means to be an actual artist, what it takes, I suppose. From my perspective, I would just say is hustle. Like if you can stay in the kitchen while it's hot. Some people just like give up and start doing other things, but I do think that there's many different ways of being an artist in general. I have many different instruments of being creative. Like painting is just one way of my creativity. I later found out I'm really good at printmaking. I'm really good at photography, installation. Recently, curating, I'm finding out that I know how to like place exhibition together, which is like, when you know your own art, you can also be able to communicate with other people in art. And I think there are many different forms of art too, like, you know, being a chef in the kitchen or being a musician or film. So sometimes I'll work on a piece and then I'll let it sit for like a month or two and then I'll look at it again and I'm like, I want to add so-and-so. And somebody's like, don't touch it anymore. And I'm like, it's not for you to tell me, you know, if I want to continue to touch it or not. I think it's a continuous thing. Like your work is continuous. If it's done, you know when it's done. Deadlines. Those are fun. Got 6 months to create 25 to 40 pieces to sift through, only showing 10 to 15 of them in 6 months for one exhibition is crazy, but that's just how it works. Sometimes, depending. I think it's a motivator for me to get work done. And then it's also like, I'm in the last month. What's going on? Let me look at what I have, you know. So I enjoy it. I enjoy the fast pace. I've always been an artist. I think the eureka moment was, I can do this for a living. I can eat, you know. The eureka moment was like, this is how you do this. Especially watching other people's careers that are older than me. I used to be like, how do you do what you do? You know, and when you actually start to get into the rhythm, and it consistently changes as I grow as an artist. I learn more things about how to expand myself, not only in my practice, but in my community and connecting with teaching each other how to grow and each other how to support our careers together as makers. So I think it's a continuous pathway of navigating space. Sorry, I'm saying navigating space because it's the first name of my first exhibition here in Philly, and I say that word a lot. But no, I just think it's continuous shift of like learning. When I came back from my trip from Havana and I had my first solo exhibition, the pandemic came and I was just like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna get through this? But I got through it, and then I continued to work after that, which I was like, okay, gotta keep moving, gotta keep digging, gotta make work, gotta continue communicating. That never really stops. So I wouldn't say that there's just like one moment or time. I think it's continuous. I guess that moment for me was before even knowing about art school or art in general, I was going to join the Marine Corps. It really wasn't about serving. It was about how to really get out of the circumstances that I was in. Growing up the way that I grew up, there was always like a harshness. And I was in a DEP program for at least 2 years, and I met this artist. Her name is Amy Sherald. She was critiquing and teaching at Maryland Institute College of Art at the time. And she introduced me to a lifestyle that was like, this is what this looks like. There's actual schools for art. And I was like, how do people make money? Like, no way. You gotta be like famous already, and no. But she showed me kind of like how to walk so that I could run or jog at least. So I applied to a couple of schools, shadowed her, and not just her, a couple of artists that were significant to me, mentors that are still mentors to me today. Philadelphia in general just opened my world. Don't even get me started about my first time out of the country. It's just like changes everything. It changes everything. I think for me, it was discipline to move forward, and that was the best way that I knew how. So when God showed me another pathway that became so easy, that I knew always was there for me, being a maker, that I just kind of flowed through the door that says yes continuously, because this is naturally what I've always had inside me. And some things that you can do, you can be all you can be and do, but it's not for you. So what is meant for you is meant for you. I had a friend recently ask me, she's like, when you go through these residencies and you have your exhibitions, do you really look at the work? And I'm like, not really. I look at it when we install and we put it up, but like, this is a celebration for other people to see the work because I've already done it. I think it's a crescendo to an extent. I'm not really a big ego person. Like, I know I'm great and I know I'm going to continue being great, but to me specifically is communication of someone else seeing what I'm communicating, not just about it being beautiful. And the compliments are like, thank you, but also I pay attention to the criticisms more because they're brilliant. To an extent, only specific people in my life, because they've been with me in this growth path. So I take those criticisms very seriously. I think there was one point where I was like, this has to be this way. And now I'm like, no, that's boring. I want to put this underneath here. I want to stick these two canvases together. I want to make this chair into a frame. I want to make this microwave into a frame. Like, I'm pushing my installation into communicating what I want to say with my paintings and items that are connected to them. I think work can be political and playful at the same time. Plus, color is a really big thing for me. Color is key. Color is everything. Color can make things playful, but it also can make things very serious in communication. Warm or cool, and flesh or transparency. Like, I really enjoy those moments. Each piece has its own conversation. My name's Dara Haskins, Philadelphian artist. You can check me out on Instagram, RQueenD.